Have you ever wondered how wild the Wild West really was? Hollywood paints a picture of constant shootouts, stagecoach robberies, and lawlessness. But was it really so? Let's dive in and separate the myths from the reality. In the Wild West, guns were essential for hunting and protection. But contrary to popular belief, not everyone was firing off their guns recklessly. In fact, most frontier towns had strict gun control laws, and violators were often arrested. The Wild West is often synonymous with wild shootouts. But in reality, these were rare occurrences. Most were fought between just two people, with only one of them dying. Stagecoaches were indeed targeted by robbers due to their valuable cargo. But when we compare the number of stagecoach runs to the number of robberies, we find that less than 1% of all stagecoaches were actually robbed. Hollywood often portrays Native Americans as the biggest threat to a rancher's herd. But in reality, Mexican bandits were a bigger threat, stealing far more cattle. Trains were a common mode of transport, but they weren't always safe. In fact, there was a significant increase in train accidents around 1853 due to fast, subpar track construction. Dysentery was indeed a serious disease in the Wild West, but it wasn't the deadliest. Cholera and smallpox claimed more lives. Contrary to Hollywood depictions, bank robberies were rare in the Wild West. Outlaws preferred to rob trains and stagecoaches as they were less risky targets. The fear of abduction by Native Americans was prevalent among white settlers. However, not all abductees were mistreated. Some, like Olive Oatman, even desired to return to their Native American families after being rescued. While Hollywood may portray hanging as a swift method of execution, it wasn't always so. Cases like that of Bill Longley, who died of strangulation rather than hanging, attest to this. Not all sheriffs were the white hat-wearing heroes we see in movies. Some, like Doc Holliday and Wild Bill Hickok, had their own brushes with the law. While these vices were common in the Wild West, there was another less talked about vice: opium. Opium use was quite common, especially among Chinese immigrants. Despite what Hollywood tells us, not everyone in the Wild West owned a horse. Horses were expensive to maintain, and many people used oxen for transport instead. The iconic cowboy hat wasn't as common as you might think. The bowler hat was actually the hat of choice for many in the Wild West. Contrary to Hollywood's portrayal, cowboys and Native Americans weren't always at odds. There were many instances of peaceful coexistence and trade between the two groups. If you liked this video, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and learn more about how we enhance history.